Welcome to Communication Skills for Everyone. So, today in this video, let us learn the poem Sunrise on the Hills. So, this poem presents the experience of the poet as he watches the sun's rise amidst the hills. So, how he describes the valley before him and the various beautiful scenes of nature. He sees the beauty of nature brings peace to the poet's mind, so that's why he advises us to find comfort in nature too. Longfellow was an influential American poet, translator, and professor at Harvard University. So during his lifetime, Longfellow was considered the best of all American poets, and his work was widely translated and published in various other languages. So, this particular poem's theme is the beauty of nature. So, where the poet observes the sunrise from the hills and sees nature wake up with the sun. So, the beauty of nature is healing and has an enchanting effect on him. So, that's what he advises us to see. Come to the stanza 1. So, where the poet stood up upon the hills, the sky which equals the heaven's wide arc, looked glorious with the sunrise. The woods were brightened with the sun's return, and soft gales or winds went forward to kiss the sunlit valley. So the clouds were far beneath where the poet stood. So still you can see they were covered in light. So the clouds were covered in light and gathered around the woods. So also you can find the trees as the clouds faded, right? The clouds faded. They can see like defeated soldiers in a battle who were slowly retreating from the battlefield. So once the battle is completed, how the soldiers return. So that impression creates the tops of many trees could be seen through the grey mist as the clouds disappeared, the clouds vanished. So the poet observes, or the poet notices that the dark pine trees rocking on the cliff were bare, reneged, and broken. They are broken almost in the final stages. When the clouds finally disappeared, the rich valley below glowed in the light of this rising sun. So the river water looked dark because of the shadows of tree, but it glistened in the white waterfall, upward in the mellow light of the day. A noisy bitterness could be sensed as the sun rose and morning approached at last. Humans and their noiselessness made an appearance too. Here the humans appearance too. So let us move to the stanza 2 where, so let us look at the stanza 2 where the poet heard the sound of distant waters and dashing, and I can see the river current whirl and shine by the blue lake's silver beach. Trees bent towards the water silently, so moving silently. Then the music of the village bell rang over the valley and sweetly echoed across the hills. These bells, maybe it's from the church, or maybe the sound of the temple or something like that. The sound of the wild horn, because in American poets, so he was referring to the church bells. The sound of the wild horn filled the woodland, responding to the merry shout of the village bell that rang far and faint across the valley. So how it shown as if answering the sudden. So he says as if answering the sudden shout of the wild horn. Then smoke emerged from the thick leaved branches in the forest. Generally we find the smoke and all that things. So that's what the poet also says. Let us move to the stanza. In stanza 3, the poet says that if we are exhausted and going through hard times or difficult times or challenging, then have sorrows we would like to forget, right? If you are not unhappy, then you would like to forget, we should go to the woods and hills. So if you go to the forest and if you go to the hills, so one can forget their difficulties, their hard times, if we would like to read a lesson that will keep our heart from fainting and our soul from sleep, we should visit nature. So nature provides learning space. So no tears or sadness can dim the sweet look that nature has. That's what, anything can be healed by the nature, anything can be learned from the nature. So that's what, the nature is everything. So in that way the poet talks about the nature. So if you have problem, go and visit the nature and see the hills, you will come out of the nature. So that's what it says. This is the poem about sunrise on the hills by H W Longfellow. Thank you for watching. Subscribe communication skills for everyone.